Hey guys, so we are back from England. I am outside. It's currently 6:15 in the morning. The kids are still sleeping, so I don't want to be inside talking and wake them up. Instead, my neighbors will probably just listen to me. Anyhow, we had an amazing trip. It was a moth. I thought it might have been a spider climbing the door. It was incredible. England, I mean, just holy cow, beautiful. The best way I think I could probably describe a lot of the places we went to is just like out of a storybook. I mean, there were some places that were truly, I mean, just what fairy tales are made out of. And I'll add some pictures to this so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So, I did post on Instagram. Unfortunately, I did plan to do some videos, but the Wi-Fi just wasn't strong enough in a lot of the places we were at. And then we did have 2 days in London, and we traded one of those days for a rugby match in Twickenham. Hopefully I said that right. So we only had one day in London, and we weren't at the hotel because we made like the most of it possible. So I'm sorry I did not upload. I did plan to, but I did post on Instagram, and it was fun to be able to share some of the things that we saw. So we started the tour so I got in the car, and I'll share some videos following this up in the next few days. And I got in the car and I drove to Linton and Lymouth, which is like 4 hours from Heathrow. So I had never driven on a right-hand drive before. So opposite side of the car, opposite street. And you know what's funny is it wasn't staying on the left-hand side wasn't hard. It was staying within the lines that was, and I mean, it wasn't, I did it, but it was just, I really had to be like conscious of staying on, because I'm used to my body being on like the left of the lane. So being on the right, that was actually the trickiest part for me. Shifting with my left hand wasn't a problem. None of it. And then as the time went on, it just became super easy, and I didn't even think twice about it. By the time we dropped the car off, it wasn't even like, it was just driving normal. In fact, I haven't driven here yet. My boyfriend drove home last night, so we'll see if it's weird getting back to normal. I don't know. Okay, so that was that, and that was probably the most beautiful views I've ever seen. So that was amazing, and they had a cricket game there. And then after that, I had my first fish and chips, and we had an ale, and then we went to Barnstable that night. So I went in, I saw the game, I went hiking right off of the plane, and so then we went to Barnstable that night, and then the next day we went golfing, and then, which was incredible because the views, I mean, they were still really new to me, so it was just these like beautiful just countrysides with just green, and the property lines or the fields are divided by like hedging, and then there's just little white dots of sheep everywhere. It was really cool. So we did that, and then we went golfing, and then the next day, and then we had a match like that. They had a 2020 game that night, so then we had that game, and a really fun night just with everybody, both of the cricket clubs hanging out, so it was really fun. And then the next day we went to a Man U game, so we drove up to Manchester, right, is where it's at, and we went to the Old Trafford Stadium. No, is that what it's called? Old Trafford, right? Anyways, we went there, and I saw my first official actual football game. That was the neatest experience because the crowd was so, I don't even know the best way to describe it, like into it. And this is only my like second real football/soccer game I've ever seen. So anyways, we did that, and then we drove back down, and we stayed in Cheltenham. We stayed 2 nights in Barnstable, 3 nights in Cheltenham, and I'm gonna start mixing days up. But anyways, while we were in Cheltenham, we did the Cotswolds, and we really just got in the car and drove. And I vlogged this day, so it's really fun to be able to look back on it. But we got in the car and we just drove, and we drove to these tiny towns, and I have this thing for old cemeteries and old churches. I know it's a little weird. I just love them. I can't get enough of them. So we did that, and we did tea, and so in England, and I don't know if it's all of England or just like this area or the majority of it or the UK as a whole. I have no idea. But there's public footpaths through people's property, so there's gates that you can just go into their pastures and you can like walk through the property. I felt like I was trespassing. By the end of it, it kind of felt like a little more normal, but it was definitely weird walking through like their fields of their sheep and the sun. You can see the sun starting to come up, and cows and stuff like that. So it was really bizarre. So anyways, you would walk through all of that and get to see so much more and eat wild blackberries, and it was really cool. And okay, so that was that. And then we had another game, so we had a whole day game. And yeah, the sun is like really starting to come up. I woke up at 3:45. It's an 8-hour time difference, so my body, it was really hard. We stayed up all day yesterday hoping that I could sleep in today, like hoping we could sleep in. My boyfriend's already off to work and we're just back to reality, huh? So okay, so that was Cheltenham. I'm trying to think, I feel like we did something else we were there, but oh, we saw that, I think it's Sudeley, spelled like subtly, but Sudeley Castle, I think is how you pronounce it. So that was really neat to go and tour and see and just read more, history and on that. And then we went to Oxford after Cheltenham, and in Oxford we spent a whole day touring, like the university and the parks, and we went punting, and my boyfriend taught me how to punt. He went to Cambridge for a while, so he it was like riding a bike. You can get up and just start punting, and it was super fun. So he taught me how to do that, and luckily nobody got wet. Almost once for me, I fell in the mud, or I got my punting pole. I don't know if there's a name for it. Anyways, it got stuck in the mud. I have a video clip of that. Okay.
Yep, pick it up.
Okay.
Drop it. Now wait till you get to the back, and then push it right off the back. There you go. There you go.
Mud, and I didn't feel it. I felt it before. I didn't feel it that time. Are you recording this?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. And that was an adventure. So we did that, and then another day we went to, this was Stonehenge was like my bucket list deal. So we went to Highclere Castle and Stonehenge. Was it worth coming? We got a lot closer than we thought. Here's the rope. And here are the stones. So there was some debate on whether or not to come because we were told it's so far away. But you can see even these people are closer over here. Excuse me. So it was really cool. You get pretty darn close. You can't touch the stones, but you're close enough to like see the birds nesting on them. So definitely worth going. The visitor center was amazing. Downton Abbey, the Highclere Castle, total fangirl moment. Totally had to have tea there and just walk the gardens, and it was awesome. It was so awesome. So by the way, they didn't like add props for the Downton Abbey, the filming of Downton Abbey. It is exactly the way it looks still in the show. So that was awesome to see. And then we had more games. We had games in between all of this, and it was a pretty structured itinerary. I really wanted to do some like meetups and things like that, but it was pretty darn, I didn't plan this trip. So we had an itinerary, and we never travel with an itinerary. So it was definitely interesting. We had very like limited like free time. We went and we saw a movie at one point because we actually had like the evening off. We're like, what are we going to do? And he's like, we could just go to bed early. I'm like, oh, let's go see a movie. I wanted to experience the theater there. By the way, it's a lot the same, but a lot different. Like no buttered popcorn. It was shocking to me. Shocking. That was mostly the reason why we went. But it was a super duper fun experience just to do there locally. And then we spent a day. We went to the Windsor Castle, which was incredibly impressive. It was much, much better than we anticipated. And then our time in London, we went to, that was what I said. We went to Twickenham and we saw a rugby match. There was a double header. I think that there's just something about going to a game that really gives you like a sense of the culture. So you can go and you can look at all these museums and you can go to all these sites, but and don't get me wrong, I love it, but it gives you like a history lesson. You kind of learn that in like a documentary. But then if you go to like a game, I don't know why a game specifically, but it like gives you like a genuine like experience, kind of like the punting gave it to me too. So I'm sure if you do anything local, you know, if you go do something like that. So there was that, and then we toured London, and we were very, very busy. we actually met up with some friends of his that he met in South Africa, so that he spent time with in South Africa. So they were there. So we went and we had dinner, and we went and had dessert with them, and it was nice to, you know, meet some people from his past. And then the next day, gosh, what all did we see? We were everywhere. I mean, it was like the speed version. We just were all through London. I mean, we rode every direction of the tube. We were on the boat. We did everything that day. So that was really fun. And then yesterday we came home, and it took us about 25 hours to get home. So we definitely were tired, but 3 flights and like a 2.5-hour tube ride. They were having all sorts of problems yesterday. But anyways, we're home now, and hopefully my kids wake up soon. We hung out with them for a while last night, and then it was just, I mean, it was late, so we were all tired. But I can't wait for them to wake up. So we got Deacon some cool cricket stuff. He loves playing. So we showed it to him. Then obviously he puts everything on, and he's like, oh, now I just need this and this. And it's like, okay. Those kits, the cricket stuff is just so massive. I'm like, let's just take it easy. I'm going to have to get him in a club. Unfortunately, like our club is 4 hours away from us. So, all right, anyways, that's it. I'm going to upload this before life happens and I actually have to like function as an adult today. I hope you guys have a great day. I will get going with videos back to normal. I'm really definitely ready to be normal again now that we're home, you know, that craving just for normal routine, normal life, just ready. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.